Hello, it's Bradley J, and the Bradley J Show is live. It looks like today we have a Bradley J Show exclusive. They say you cannot cross the same river twice, but maybe that's not true. And Boston Globe reporter, longtime reporter now, Emily Sweeney, is on the scene at a cool thing, which is about to happen, actually. This isn't breaking news. This is pre-breaking news. Emily, why don't you give us an overview of where you are and who you're with. We can start out with your friend Cody there, and later on we're going to meet some other interesting people who are integral to what's going down, but I'll give you the honor of telling us where you are at. Go.
Yeah, Bradley, hey, thanks so much for having us. So I'm at ManRay nightclub. I'm here with Cody Switch, and we're getting a tour of the place before it opens next week.
So you're going to tell us what ManRay is.
What it looks like inside.
What's ManRay?
Oh, geez. Well, ManRay was a nightclub that operated from like the 80s to 2006 over in Central Square, and just like probably about a block away. And we're in Central Square now, 40 Prospect Street. This is the new ManRay. It's not far from the old one. And yeah, so it's a legendary nightclub reopening. I mean, when does that happen?
So ManRay was crucial to the area, the Central Square area, but it also served a particular clientele. It was kind of an awesome gothy club. I mean, that's not the only thing it did, but why don't you talk about the people who went there and hopefully who are going to return?
Yeah. So, I mean, what made ManRay so great is they had all different nights. They had goth nights, they had gay nights, they had fetish nights. So it was a really diverse and drew a diverse crowd, and it'll be interesting to see what happens now. So, want us to start walking in? Give a little tour?
No, not quite yet. Not quite yet. In a rare case,
I'm dying to get in there.
In a rare case, yeah, you can walk while I talk. In a rare case of good news, ManRay, beloved ManRay, looks like it's reopening, and we're going to speak to the person who's, I guess, mostly responsible for the reopening. And also, I guess, beloved DJ Chris Ewing, who used to work there all the time and who's like one of the kings of, certainly the king of Hell Night, goth dance, and stuff like that. But we're going to go into the club now and get kind of an exclusive sneak preview and talk to Terri. Hi, Terri. Are you there?
Hi, Bradley.
Now get up closer. Got to take that. Can you take the mask? Okay, good. Now tell me who you are and what your role is in all this.
Terri Niedzwiecki, bartender extraordinaire.
Okay.
A legend.
Okay, so it's longtime legendary bartender.
Together.
Yeah. And you are a person who is responsible for pulling this all together, right?
One of the persons.
Okay. What were some of the challenges in bringing this club back online?
Never tried to open up a nightclub during a pandemic.
Okay, so the pandemic was a real problem. What else?
Supply issues.
A supply issue? Oh, wow. So you're trying to build a place out, and it's tough to get stuff. A nightmare, but you're stuck with it, and it looks like we're actually going to open up. So,
Yep.
Do you have a schedule of what's going to happen on what night?
Well, right now, Wednesday, we're going to be doing a night called Crypt, which is a gothic industrial night. Thursdays is Campus for gay men and their friends. Saturday, New Wave, in trying to fine-tune Fridays, so it'll be a surprise.
Okay. And who's DJing these various nights?
I think we're going to have, Chris will mainly do most of them.
Tell me about what's Chris's full name?
Chris Ewing.
Chris Ewing.
E-W-E-N.
And what is his history with the club?
Oh, God, he's been my best bud for 30 years, 40 years.
And he's been an integral...
Forever.
Yeah. He's been an integral part of the club. He's a widely known DJ, and it's great he's still around. I actually, the last time I went out to a club, really, was to New Year's Eve at Sonia with Chris spinning, and it was a blast. So,
Yes,
all
I
right,
was
you want
there.
to why don't you just show us what it looks like? Give us an idea of what this
Okay,
place looks like. Go ahead.
sure. Follow me. All right,
right.
here we go.
All right. So this is an exclusive sneak preview, folks, of the all new ManRay. I believe they have the same logo. It's on the outside. It's at 40 Prospect Street. So talk to me. What do we got here?
All right.
Hey, Bradley, how are you? I'm Chris
So
Young.
this is Chris. So I want to see you guys. It's your lights behind you. So go out further into the room so we can get some light on your faces. Very good. And we'll talk to Chris. That's the DJ. And we'll talk to Terry a little more. And there we go. That's good. Okay. So let me talk to Chris. There he is, the world famous Chris Ewing. And so tell us about your involvement in ManRay all through the ages and involvement in the new place.
Well, back in the day, I guess, when ManRay, the original ManRay was around, I guess you could say that I was the head resident DJ. I worked there 4 nights a week, Wednesday through Saturday. And I worked in the back room, the more alternative, the darker room, the performance room.
Mm-hmm.
That ended when the club ended, obviously. And then I took a couple of the nights and have been doing them around in other venues throughout the years. Now that ManRay is back, I guess I'm kind of acting right now in that same capacity. And we'll be bringing in guest DJs for campus and some Friday nights and mixing it up. I want to have a really diverse roster of DJs coming in to make the place jump and be really happening.
Okay, Crypt is a goth-ish night. Campus is for gay
Yes.
men and their friends, did you say? And what was Friday?
Friday night's going to be a kind of an industrial night. At the original ManRay, it was an industrial night with a lot of fetish overtones. And we're hoping that the people who come in bring a bit of that element with them. We want it to be very creative and really fun. And then Saturdays are, for right now, are going to be the 80s and post-punk night that Terry and I are doing currently. And that's Heroes. And, the schedule right now as to what happens on what day is very fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's going to be a retro thing on Saturday, and campus is always going to be campus, and Wednesdays is always going to be crypt. But we're going to play with things and juggle things around, and just try to keep it exciting.
Good. We're speaking with Emily Sweeney of the Boston Globe and Chris Ewing, very famous DJ, and Terri Niedzwiecki, as close as I can come on the name. I hope we did well. Who is
You did really well.
working hard to reopen the great club ManRay. Chris, you're successful. I love your nights, and I'm super critical of DJs, as you might imagine. So, what is your theory on how you mix it up, as far as the new stuff you love versus the stuff you've heard a million times that they got to hear to dance? How do you get them going with one thing, you keep them going with another? I never was good at dance clubs because once you get them dancing, I always felt stuck. Now I can't. Now I'm a slave to keeping them on the dance floor. And a DJ like you is probably like, yeah, that's right, and that's a bummer. But how do you do it?
Well, I generally try to mix things from different eras. So I even at Heroes, I don't play all strictly 80s stuff, even though that's the preponderance of it. I try to mix in new things. I try to balance between what people know and what people don't know. I think a lot of DJs think, oh, I just want to play what I want to play.
Right.
Or they think I am going to pick all the lowest hanging fruit
Right.
and play whatever they want to hear. I try to be somewhere in the middle and give people some new things as well.
What's your
Now, when
ratio?
I started,
What's your ratio
sorry?
of the familiar? I mean, ballpark ratio of the familiar for them and the cool for you. 2-to-1,
I'd
1-to-1.
say, yeah, I'd say it's about 50-50 these days.
All right.
You know, with the Heroes Night, people think it's an 80s night, and they hear it's an 80s night. They just think they're going to hear Safety Dance and such all night long. And there is plenty of really cool stuff from the 80s that's not that. And I try to mix a lot of that stuff in. Now, when I started as a DJ, I was very young and I hung out in gay discos, and I loved the way people beat mixed in the clubs. And my approach then, which I still use today, is to take alternative music, rock music, industrial music, whatever, but mix it like a disco DJ. So there is a flow, an ebb and flow throughout the night, and it's smooth. That's kind of just the philosophy I go with.
And that thing you just talked about, basically you're beat mixing some songs that are basically rock songs, and that is a fairly rare thing. I mean, you do a lot of dance songs, but some of them are rock songs or goth rock songs, and people a lot of times don't take the time or don't have the skill to beat mix rock or rockish songs, but you do, and that's key. And it's tricky sometimes, and I know that even if the beats aren't exact, they're exact enough so you only overlap them for a certain amount of time. You can get them exact for long enough to get by. Am I right?
Yes, the smooth segue. There are some songs, and I have become very aware of this, that live drummers can be really bad. There are certain songs that start at 1 beat per minute and end like 10 beats per minute faster. So I've had to adjust things over the years and learn how to deal with live drummers' quirks.
Okay, so let's now that we've talked to you guys, you folks, let's take a look at the room as best we can, given the limited circumstances and the low technology. Go ahead, Emily.
Are you making fun of my phone, Bradley?
Show us around. No, it is the best possible. It's the best we have. So this is the room.
If you want to turn, Emily, if you want to turn around over here, we have.
So get closer, Chris. Get closer so we can hear you better. Closer to
Okay,
Emily.
we have the lighting booth here.
Yeah.
And then next to it, if you want to turn around this way, we have an actual real DJ booth with monitors and stuff like that. We're not setting up DJs on the stage or doing anything. We have a dedicated nightclub DJ booth. So anyone who comes in here to DJ, guest DJs or whatever, they will have the equipment that they need, and it'll be very easy and it'll sound great.
Oh, by the way, Chris, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I do a post-punk, dark wave, cold wave, electronic show still. I mean, again, at WZBC on Saturdays. It might be fun for you. You know, we have very similar tastes. I think you might find it fun. I don't beat mix that on that show, but still you might enjoy some of the songs. Let's take a look at some
I'm sure I would.
Let's take a look at some more of the room. We got the DJ booth. Okay. What else we got?
Yeah.
Show us around.
All right.
Nice floor.
So here's huge dance floor. Got like disco ball.
Disco ball, good. Check.
Got the nice stage over here.
Oh yeah, are there going to be bands playing?
Eventually.
Yeah?
Yeah, eventually we will have bands in. Right now, our key strategy is to get the place open. You know, back in the day when ManRay had bands, they were always very special events. It wasn't a thing like, you know, Wednesdays are band night or whatever. But, you know, if some really cool band like B&B Nation or, you know, things like that, or sometimes even Nirvana in the early days when they came through, Alien Sex Fiend, things like that, we would have special nights that we would have them. But it wasn't really part of our regular rotating schedule.
It's funny that you mentioned. It's funny that you mentioned Alien. It's funny you mentioned Alien Sex Fiend because the name of my show comes from their song "Ignore the Machine." That's the name of my show. So you get an idea of it.
Well, cool. Nick and the missus are very good friends of Terri and mine. Yeah. So
cool.
We appreciate that.
Now, Terry, can you take the mic, get close to the microphone there, Terry?
Yes.
So, why did the ManRay close originally, the first one?
Oh, the owner sold the building and turned it into condos. Our lease is up.
So that's the standard story throughout Boston and like cities throughout the nation.
Oh, yeah.
And what have you been doing in the meantime?
Working with Chris here, there, and everywhere, it seems.
So what motivated you to go through all the hell, and I'm sure it was hell, to put this club together again, especially during the pandemic? What was your motivation?
Well, basically, there's nothing left in the city of Boston, I think.
Right.
Yeah, few and far between.
And quite frankly, I want to work
the
in a
camera
place
over
that I enjoy.
There you go. Right. So you wanted to have a place you like, so you built your own. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Very good.
with a lot of the nightclubs closing and stuff in Boston, places like Machine that would sometimes do darker and alternative stuff.
Right.
I think that we felt that the time was right because options for people really were dwindling to almost nothing. I mean, yeah, there are a couple gay clubs still or gay bars, and yeah, there are a couple venues in downtown. But really, when I moved to Boston in 1985, and I'm dating myself,
He's old.
there were tons of venues catering to lots of people's tastes everywhere. And because that's all gone away, we just thought it was probably a good time to bring back what we were doing. You know, there was a book that came out about ManRay, came out last year, that there were a lot of interviews with people, and we did some Zooming and stuff like that. And just people's memories of the place. And this is, 18 years on, were so vivid and so heartwarming and touching in a way that
I might have cried a little bit.
yeah, I think that we decided, it would be good if we could bring back that vibe that made so many people happy
Excellent.
and cater to younger people as well.
When are you opening up?
We are opening up this coming Wednesday, which is, the date is not burned in my head. It is the 18th of January. And that's going to be Crypt.
Good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very, very exciting. Well, I wish you all the best.
I know it.
Does anybody have
Cody,
anything
what
to
do you
add?
think?
Oh, I just think it's really wonderful having grown up in Boston and finding it to be, quite honestly, a closed-minded and homophobic city coming from Brooklyn, New York. I think it's really nice to bring back some diversity to the community and a more welcoming space, especially since attitudes have shifted so much in the past 2 decades. So I'm really excited to see something like that to offer the community.
And by the way, you are Cody Switch, a friend of the club. I guess that's it. Does anybody want to say anything? Anybody got any other information?
Well, what Cody was saying about it being an all-inclusive space, that was, I think, one of the perks of ManRay back in the day.
Right.
That's what it was all about. There were plenty of times when I would see boys and girls who were new to the club come in on a Wednesday night and hide in a corner. And then they might show up on a Saturday night, which was a very mixed night. And then before you know it, they were at campus feeling safe and feeling content and
Right.
in control. And I think that it would be nice to bring that back again.
I always found it was inclusive just to binary folks as well. So nobody was made to feel uncomfortable. So regardless of where you're at, you probably will find a place at ManRay. I guess that's a good
Definitely.
place to stop. Thank you very much for setting this thing up. Emily Sweeney, the Boston Globe, Chris Ewing, well-known superstar DJ. Here we go now. Cody Switch from Brooklyn, and Terri Niedzwiecki, who is spent so much time, sweat and blood and tears to put this thing together. You must feel pretty
Lots of tears.
darn and money to go. You must be pretty darn happy about opening this place up. Congratulations. And I will be seeing you at the all new Man Ray. Thank you very much.
It's really
Thank
happening.
you, Bradley.
Thank you,
Really
Bradley.
happening. Now, everybody, share this. It's your job. If you don't do it, I will know. Bye.